Well, it's official. Enel is an absolute demon. He just showed up out of nowhere, cooked Sanji and Usopp, just completely fried him, knocked him unconscious, basically killed him in front of Nami and Ganful, told Ganful and Nami about his true motive about the Island of Gold, which does exist, by the way. It's basically just been confirmed that, Noland the liar wasn't not lying, that this Island of Gold does actually exist, and it's exactly what Enel is going for. That's exactly why he's at this island in the first place. Regardless, Enel is a very scary person, and it was one of my favorite lines in the series so far from any villain was when Ganful says, "What are you going to do to my subordinates?" And he says, "Only God knows," and then just disappears. That was fucking cold as fuck. But Enel is terrifying, and just the way he's been introduced in this sort of way to the Straw Hats, at least for the first time, I thought was absolutely brilliant. He's a very menacing character. He's not as like hateable as Arlong or Crocodile yet. He hasn't done anything as detestable to me yet. I mean, I don't think. Arlong and Crocodile immediately were just sort of like, these people are fucking disgusting pieces of shit and are basically irredeemable. But with with Enel, he is like that. He is terrible, obviously, and he's enslaved an entire race of people essentially to do his bidding and live under fear of him. So he's not a good guy at all. But he's not as immediately I want to see get fucked up as much as the others. But he is very scary, and I think he's probably the most powerful character we've seen so far, at least in terms of somebody that's in direct conflict with the Straw Hats, maybe besides Mihawk or something like that. But seeing him just show up like that, like I said, and cook Usopp and Sanji and then just dip was, crazy. What a crazy sort of introduction to the Straw Hats. Well, Nami, Sanji, and Usopp, at least. I can't wait for him to meet Luffy, Zoro, Chopper, everybody else. I think that's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. Also in this episode, we got Luffy versus Wiper, which was an awesome fight, very fast paced. It didn't last a very long time, but it didn't overstay its welcome. It was very cool seeing these two clash. Wiper with his dials and his bazooka and his insanely quick movements, and then Luffy with his raw strength. These two sort of clashing, I thought was great. They have a great sort of clash of personalities as well. They're both very intense, especially when they fight. They both have something they're fighting for. Wiper especially fighting for his tribe to get his homeland back, and Luffy just fighting because he's Wiper's in the way, basically. That's all Luffy's fighting for. But we know when Luffy fights, he fights for fucking real. Do you know what I mean? He goes for it. And this fight was awesome. It was just as great and explosive as I assumed it would be. Did not disappoint at all. And at the end of this fight, Luffy got eaten by that giant snake. And interestingly enough, inside that snake is some ruins with like a golden crown and a bunch of gold things. And I wonder if the snake maybe ate the island of gold or something like that, or part of it. It's going to be interesting to see why that sort of what sort of goes on there, because that was a very interesting detail. The fact that he had that gold crown and some other gold pieces inside of him, and they can't find this island of gold. What if it has been eaten by this giant snake? Because it's ginormous, so maybe it has, and the island of gold has been consumed by this snake all along. I don't know, but that's very interesting. The upper yard is currently consumed by this survival challenge. The Divine Soldier Commander just took out one of the Shandians in a brutal fashion, like the way he just dispatched of him with all the cuts across him and then just squishing him against that tree with his ginormous body, I thought was brutal. Satori has two brothers, which are now going to fight Nami and Ganful to avenge Satori, which could be interesting. I wonder if they have similar powers. I don't know. We'll have to see. And Chopper has just encountered one of the priests, and God bless him, he's terrifying. This priest is probably the scariest looking one, and poor Chopper is all on his own. I don't know how he's going to cope, if he's just going to run away, if he's going to try and stand his ground. I don't know, but I'm worried for our boy, but we'll have to see. But this episode was awesome. Like I said, that Wiper versus Luffy fight was great. Enel is fucking terrifying. And let's see what happens next.